Hello, I'm Louise Peters, Chair of the Social EcoJustice Committee, and this is our report for 2023. We are going to continue with pilgrimage, but this year, sadly, we are walking in ashes. We are continuing to draw attention to social and eco-justice issues through the practice of pilgrimage. We hope that by an intentional motion through the spaces that we live and worship, we will invite faithful communities to listen for God's call to justice. We believe right relationship with all our neighbors, people, and creatures starts with presence and curiosity. We hope the justice actions that might be inspired by these pilgrimages are grounded by listening to specifics of time and place. To support pilgrimage around the province, our committee has created and this year updated a booklet with an outline for a day's pilgrimage, further explanation of the practice of pilgrimage, and additional resources about pilgrimage and eco-justice, ecological justice have been included. Our hope is that any community with or without clergy leadership could pick up this resource and host a pilgrimage in their community. The community stands by to answer any questions or make suggestions if that would be useful. Also, we offer the booklet in Word form because we hope each community feels invited to make the changes that feel right and holy in their place. Also, we have been practicing hosting and walking local pilgrimages. Last year, we focused on walking in the season of creation. This year, we noticed that the practice is spreading into the rest of the year. Today, the Venerable Ken Gray will remind us of the connections between pilgrimage and creation. He will highlight successes from last year and celebrate the beauty of walking in forests and by lakes and streams. Reverend Alicia Greenfield will notice that many of us live and work in urban environments and invite us to listen for God on busy city streets and through residential neighborhoods.
I want to talk about events. My encouragement to people is just do something between the 1st of September and the 4th of October every year. With regard to events within the season of creation, I have 3 simple words to say. Take it outside. Let us get our feet onto the ground of God's creation and do some walking together. So here's some samples of what we did last year. I facilitated a 5-day event there where we had in the middle 3 separate days of pilgrimage, 1 day each. In the lush interior forest, proximate to lakes, still able to hear the highway, but in a very dry time of the year, we experienced God's creation. In an area rich in the history of First Peoples, we acknowledge that we were not the first people to have explored the historic Adams River watershed and spawning area. We connected with the Sorrento Center, that's its current director, Michael Shapcott, and he brought in a number of people who shared stories from Indigenous tradition, shared in Indigenous ways. We also welcomed a special teacher that morning as we learned about the whole cycle of the salmon experienced here in the province of British Columbia. We bonded as a group. There were about 15 of us who had come from all over the province. We prayed together. We enjoyed each other's company. We shared moments of celebration and of tremendous pain. We learned, we worshiped, and we had a darn good time. I want to finish with one particular story. The story concerns the Sparrow Creek pilgrimage. Roy and Sue Klein are stewards of a 7.5-acre hobby farm in Fort Langley, BC. The property is in the rolling hills near the Fraser River. There's a pond and associated wetlands, a small coniferous forest, a wild pasture, a barn owl house, and a bee yard. The Kleins are working with the Fraser Valley Conservancy to establish habitat for the Pacific tree frog, the red-legged frog, and salamanders. The banks of the pond and the stream that feeds it have been repopulated with over 4,000 native plants. The Anglican parish of St. George in Fort Langley and the Kleins and the Fraser Valley Conservatory did their first eco-pilgrimage on this property in September of 2021. This was followed by a Eucharist in the churchyard and a fellowship supper in the hall. June 2023 was the second eco-pilgrimage. This time, instead of a very dry September, the spring pilgrimage showed an abundance of new growth, with waterfowl and babies and frogs and dragonflies and a multitude of songbirds. Pilgrims in groups of up to 5 started at the trailhead every 20 minutes. This was to allow a quiet, reflective time to look and listen and smell and to ponder creation and consider how we all fit in together. Each pilgrim received a wooden disc stamped with a heron to wear around their neck and a bulletin with a map, talking points, and prayers. The Fraser Valley Conservatory biologist was available at the trailhead to answer questions. The walk took about from 45 minutes for some walkers to 2 hours for others. There was good conversation at the deck at our home afterwards, where coffee, tea, and snacks were served. Comments heard included, "I love these people. They are my tribe. Look, they're tiny wild strawberries. I would like to do this in my home country," which for one person meant Turkey. So with that, and thinking about events and ways in which you can get out and experience God's creation with others, I hope some of this is food for thought. Great to be with you. Thanks for listening.
Hello, I'm Alicia Greenfield. 5 churches in the Kingsway Deanery are walking on Orange Shirt Day, September 30th in Vancouver. We will pray at each of the churches and carry our prayers into the world as we walk through busy streets, residential neighborhoods, and cemeteries. We will notice the beauty of ocean and see urban wildlife, but we will also look for God on Vancouver's downtown east side. Some parts of our world are hard to look at, and yet there is beauty and hope here too. Pilgrimage is an invitation to listen to all that is here. I'm also a priest at a Japanese-Canadian church, and I'm listening to issues of pilgrimage and racial diversity. You'll notice in a lot of our pictures that our practices are overwhelmingly white. Walking in the world in a body of color is a different experience when you're not consistently welcome or safe in public spaces. I believe the communal nature of pilgrimage is an opportunity for safe public walking for everyone. And we continue to listen to voices of diversity in their experience in each specific place.
As you have seen, the Social EcoJustice group continues to focus on pilgrimage. We trust that by paying attention to God in the places we live, work, and worship, our hearts will be drawn to the urgent social and eco-justice issues that surround us. For the ongoing work of the committee, we are looking for new members. We have no representative from the Diocese of the Yukon, and we have noticed we are not a racially diverse group. To support pilgrimage, we ask the ecclesiastical province to include $1,000 in their budget. If you have an opportunity to participate in a pilgrimage, please do so. Finally, please accept our prayers for every place and everyone, for those who are unable to be in their homes, those who have lost their homes, for those who are unable to go outside because of smoke. I'm at a loss. Thank you for your attention.